What is going on, guys? Welcome to the Lord Valor channel. This is a Lifecast extra. I think it's only like the second one I've done, so like...
The first one you did was with me.
Yeah, we just talked about Disney crap the whole time, but this time we actually got some...
We're talking about Stranger Things.
We're going to talk about Stranger Things crap. Exactly, Josh. Yeah, so we're just going to talk about predictions for Season 4, what we hate, what we are predicting, what might love if they do it. So Josh, let's start with you, because I'm just going to go ranty ravey probably by the end of this. But...
Well, with the spin-off episode that they did in Season 2 with the sister, I forget what her name was, that opens up the possibility for like a lot of other characters or people that are like that. So that could be a whole nother series even. Mm-hmm. They could all like band together and like do stuff. Not sure what, because do stuff. But like I'm not really sure what they could do with that. They could do any number of things, but that's just one theory.
I mean, I like that theory just because it's like, because we only really see, especially in the first couple seasons, we only really see 11 having those powers, and like with the sister, obviously, but it's like, we could go, like, I could see them taking a season and spinning off of that and being like, okay, she finds other people like her or something like that.
And it'd be interesting if they got into like the science of why they are like they are, because that was never explained.
And
not they ever needed to.
How that science gives them like their different abilities instead of all the same one.
They could do like a pre-season of like how the lab got formed and how 11 came to the lab.
Yeah, here's the other thing though. They have to end it sometime, and otherwise you'll end up with like Star Wars and you'll have like sequels, prequels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, like, Star Wars was just amazing. So.
But the older ones are better than the newer ones. Don't get me started.
That's a whole different debate.
That's a whole different debate, but...
We'll do that for another extra.
I'm going to say that Stranger Things can maybe only get away with 2 more seasons.
Maybe even 1.
I would say if they end at 4, they got to end while they're ahead, because if you just keep beating the same horse, you're going to...
Mm-hmm.
You're going to end up with a really bloody horse.
You're going to end up with a really bloody horse. Exactly.
Yeah.
So... Yeah, 2 more seasons, in my opinion, max is what they can do.
I think I read some of that's all that they were planning
Right, they
on.
were planning. I was going to say, I think they were planning on only going to a season 5.
The way, from the video you showed us, they showed Hopper bald in a concentration camp, which I hate, because I think Jim's death was appropriate to leave him dead. I know they were setting up Joyce and Jim
yeah.
throughout that
went
whole
through
3
grief,
seasons.
though, with that.
But also Joyce, at the moment they shared before Jim died, Jim and Joyce, the time leading up to when he died, even when they were staring at each other, when it was exploding.
Yeah.
It felt like closure to me.
It did as well.
And that's why I was so upset when Jim died. And that's why I think if they bring back Jim Hopper, don't think I'm going to enjoy it.
I'm going to agree with you on that closure thing, because it was like you saw how they looked at each other, and I don't remember if like Jim nodded at her or something, but just the way they looked at each other was like, well, I think he did, like, he's like, I know I'm going to die, just like, I know I'm going to die, I'm doing this for you, I'm doing this for the kids, like. I'm
doing it for everyone.
Right, I'm doing this to save everyone, and I think if they need to just leave him dead, because I think how they wrapped his story up was really well done. And they even had a little epilogue thing after that with them moving of like 11 actually reading the letter from Hopper. And I think that was also a really nice way to close up his relationship with 11 as well, and to just tie all of that together. I think was really smart in how the directors and producers did that. So.
But with that also, because they all think that he's dead.
Yeah,
like they don't know that he's in a Russian concentration camp.
Which we don't specifically know that's the case.
But that's been in trailers.
Kind of what the trailers are hinting at. And so I think if they do a season 4, which they are, and if they bring back Jim, what I think should happen, and I think they could get away with it if they do it. It seems like it's gonna be a gym-focused season. So Jim getting back to America, whatever, whatnot. You have 11 and everyone else meeting up. Whatever they want to do, wherever they want to take season 4, fine, whatever. And then to go back to Josh's, there are other people like 11. I think they could do a whole different series, not called Stranger Things, where they do deeper dives into people that are like 11. And they could just do a completely different series.
Or
about
even
that.
touching on 11, even in that, like, looking at her first, but looking at how she got to the lab, or how, like, not production, but, like, how she started getting powers and stuff. And so, like, seeing, like, even how she came to the lab and how everything started for her.
Yeah, because I think as far as Stranger Things goes, they gotta stop sometime. But I think they could do spin-off series, and they could be fine.
I agree.
As long as
the
it
main
doesn't...
plot has to end somewhere, but there could be subplots or even
As
completely
lo-
separated plots with the same people.
Exactly. Well, I would get different people, to be honest. I think they need to step away from other characters.
Not like everyone is the same, but like people that
They could have
connect.
cameos.
Right, you can have
That'd
cameos.
be
Like,
fine.
keep 11 in there, because obviously if they're going to look at people like her, obviously keeping her in there to tie things together to the original. Yeah, that's...
Yeah, I just think as far as the Stranger Things series goes, they
Yeah.
need to stop at like season 4 or 5. I don't know where they'd take a season 5.
I mean,
But-
yeah.
I said that about
I've
Rick and
read
Morty,
that the ending
but-
is already written.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Okay, so that's good. But I think they could do spin-off series as long as they don't ruin the original Stranger Things, right?
Yes.
And that's my problem with what kind of Star Wars did, is with the Rise of Skywalker, I'm going to tie this in, I swear. With the Skies of Skywalker, they introduced a bunch of these things that the Force could do that didn't really match up with those original trilogy.
Yeah.
Like holding
Well, I
original
haven't-
trilogy.
I
It
haven't
didn't really
seen that
hold
yet, but-
together, right?
I haven't
so, like,
seen that yet, but...
They somehow, Rey, like, swished the sword space and time and got it to, what's his name?
Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren, thank you. And like, it's like, the Force has never done that. Why can it do that now? That would have been so good.
And it can't hold
like,
bullets in the air. That would be super helpful, like, specifically in, what, Geonosian?
Yeah,
Geonosian?
exactly. So, like, they introduced a bunch of things that the Force could do that didn't make sense compared to the first
Geonosis.
The first movies.
the first movies, right? And that's what I would be scared if they started doing.
That would be the one cautious thing, or the one thing that could go
Exactly.
wrong with spin-offs, yeah.
Spin-offs
Like,
of
if
Stranger Things.
someone was somehow too powerful.
Exactly. Yeah, if they introduced someone that was too powerful, or if they completely broke some of their own rules that they made in Stranger Things, like...
Something that could be interesting is if, like, there was, like, all these people with powers that had similar origins to 11, and then there was someone that was, like, a culmination of all those that
Ooh.
went rogue, and they have to use every single power that they have in their arsenal to defeat this one person that has every single one of them.
That would be that'd be cool. Because I know, because 11's got completely different powers than what the sister does. I forget what
Yeah.
the name of.
Yep.
But she's got completely different powers than her. So I could see where, if they did that, I think that would actually be super smart. I think you're right. Where if they, like, they were trying to do an experiment and get, like, one specific person to have every single power,
Like a Deadpool situation.
but then it
Yeah,
backfired.
they have to be careful that they don't start copying, like, the X-Men, because that's basically what the plot of the X-Men is a bunch of people, what do they call them?
Mutants.
That were, like, born weird, and they have special powers, and they just have to be careful not to copycat that.
That's
But
true. Okay.
You need to do it in a different way, but I think doing it in a different way is far enough from copying it directly.
Yeah.
Like, you could
like,
see-
it's the same
yeah.
idea, but...
Like, it couldn't be done with genetics, like I think Deadpool was.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Interesting. Okay.
yeah.
But
It's
Like, it had to be some freak science experiment or something like that.
like it's not has nothing to do with the DNA. It was like
Right.
what they were introduced to as a child, or there's so many
yeah.
different ways they can take it besides DNA. So like,
right, and I don't think, because 11 and the other girl, not to be racist,
Sister,
but
yeah.
they were two. Like, she was African American and 11 is
no, yeah, that's,
white. So there's
that was the point. I think,
right,
is
there's
that
no-
they weren't biological sisters.
right,
they were
exactly. So there's
sisters
no
in-
way, unless for some crazy reason they do have DNA that's somehow connected. There's no way to really connect that to be like, yeah, they were
Well,
sisters,
it's not
but
impossible if the dad was white for both of them and just
that
fucked
is
two
true.
different people.
That is true.
Like, I'm not saying it's impossible. I don't know if they were biologically sisters. I think they were sisters in the sense of powers
We both
and, like,
right.
we're
We've
both
gone
different, right?
Shared trauma.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
That was kind of it.
yeah.
That's
But
what Murray said. Shared trauma.
Is that what Murray said?
Did he say that?
Shared
Oh.
trauma. That's why Nancy and
That's why- yeah.
Jonathan were.
they were
If
really
you didn't,
close.
if you didn't
yeah.
see what I was doing, I was crossing my fingers.
They were tight.
They were
tight.
really close because of that shared trauma of
Title. No.
right. But also, I think that's what tied the kids together. I missed what they both said. It's fine. I think that's what also tied the kids together too, is because they all had this shared trauma.
And Max didn't have that, right?
And Max didn't have it, hence
So that was
why
also
she was
why.
also thrown off. But then when she got
polarized.
pulled into it, same thing with Robin, where she was thrown off at first. Same thing with Erica. If they were all like, they all got
Yeah.
thrown off. But when they started experiencing those things for themselves, they could all relate on something, and they could all, which is why they banded together, because they had that shared trauma. Where, because
shared trauma was a big theme from Stranger Things from season 1 to season 3.
Right.
Like, throughout the whole thing.
I
exactly.
think that's why everyone saw Joyce as crazy, because they didn't share in the trauma of her kid literally disappearing off the face of the
Right,
earth.
exactly. But like where the kids, I guess, could maybe relate to her more than what Hopper could have, because Hopper, like the kids, it was their friend, but with Hopper,
He's just
wasn't
some kid.
right. He was just some kid. He wasn't really connected in any way. But
Yeah, and Hopper's development, he went from just that random police guy to king of the town, basically.
right, yeah, exactly.
He
but
did kind of abuse his power at some points, I feel. but
Yeah.
that's true.
He
Well,
did it with good intentions.
stealing somebody's car,
Yeah, he's still
Beating
someone's.
up the mayor.
beating up the mayor.
Threatening
I mean,
the registrar to call
mayor
the
was
police.
kind of a douche, but
The mayor was, yeah.
He did deserve it, but, you know, a
I
little
still
bit of
love
an
the
abuse
mayor.
of power.
The mayor is, if you're not aware, the mayor is played by, just a second, I
one
will
more.
find it. Carrie Elwes?
Elvis, I think.
Elwes? Well, he is the actor from Psych, who is the paint robber. If you know if you've watched Psych, if you know what I'm talking about. And it was my favorite character from Psych as well. So I'm trying to think of his name. It starts with a B.
Once you figure this out, I have something I want to say.
Ah, yes, Pierre Despereaux. Yeah, he was solid character from Psych.
Well, one thing that I loved about season 3, specifically at the end, and like the shared trauma thing, Billy and 11, I found this really interesting right at the end. Billy was still possessed, but 11 had gone into his memories earlier on in the season. And so right at the end, he was on the floor, and 11 was over top of him, and she was like, there was a woman on a beach. And like she was kind of recounting all these memories to him, which in the end actually saved everyone, kind of. Well, kind of, like in the way he kind of sacrificed himself for everyone. Because when you kill the host, you kill the monster.
Right.
Which ended up, the monster killed the host, and so they killed each other in the end. But I think that was just so cool of like, 11 was, she kind of made him come out of his shell, and he then ended up defeating the monster. And I loved that, where she could do that. I don't know. That just was really cool to me. I don't know. But
All right, I think that's about it for predictions about season 4. We kind of don't know much at this point, but we will probably do another podcast about when season 4 comes out. I don't know when that'll be. It's going to be a while, probably.
I looked
but-
up, and it said it might not even come out this year. So
Yeah,
We
it's
don't
going to
know.
be a while, and that's fine. I want him to make it right. I want him to write it well, whatever. So that's good. Thank you for tuning into this Lifecast Extra episode. Hope you enjoyed. This will be linked in the description of the first
Lifecast
video.
episode.
Yeah, so I will also provide a link to the original podcast in this description, just in case you're finding this first, which is very possible because I have different subscribers on each one. So that's all right. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.